Welcome to the Get Fit Guys, quick and dirty tips to get moving and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong, and I'm the Get Fit Guy. Motivation is a tricky topic. How we get motivated, stay motivated, create motivation, and recreate motivation is, and always has been, a hot topic in the world of exercise and fitness. And trust me, you are not the only one who doesn't feel motivated every single morning to lace up your runners and get your heart rate up. Even professional athletes occasionally have to drag their butts to practice. So, okay, with that in mind, what is motivation? Well, in 1993, French researchers Vallerand and Thill wrote a paper called Introduction à la psychologie de la motivation, in which they described motivation as a hypothetical construct used to describe the internal and or external forces that produce initiation, direction, intensity, and persistence of behavior. Now, that is quite a brain teaser, so let's break it down. The main reason I like this definition is that right out of the gate, it states that motivation is a hypothetical construct. It's not a fixed state, it's not measurable or provable, it's not something you can purchase or borrow, it's not even something you can store up for later, and most importantly, it may not even exist. Like the proverbial tree falling in an empty forest, if there's no one around to enjoy the motivation, is it still there? The other reason I like this definition is because it identifies that the forces that drive us to feel this hypothetical construct are both internal and external. Now, you may have heard of this as being referred to as intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and we'll get into that in a bit. The final reason I like this definition is because of how motivation can manifest itself and be used. For example, it can be the reason you actually hit the gym. It can be the reason you choose to do a particular workout over another workout. It can be the reason you push yourself harder than you did the day before. And it can also be the reason that you are consistent in your exercise routine. Okay, are you getting the idea that we may have wrapped far too many complicated things into one overly simplistic term? Motivation? Yeah, I am. But let's keep going. In the 2011 book, Foundations of Sport and Exercise Psychology, authors Weinberg and Gould made this distinction. Intrinsic motivation is the drive from your inner self to be successful, because of the enjoyment or pride you feel when performing or improving your skill level. Now, extrinsic motivation is gained from rewards offered by an external source and could be either tangible or intangible. Now, they went on to clarify that a tangible reward could be something physical, like a trophy or prize money, and an intangible reward could be praise from a coach, fans, or family members. And just a little personal thought, if this book was written now, it may have actually included some likes on social media. Now, personally, while I enjoy taking a medal home from a finish line, and I'm always happy when a coach, a sibling, or a social media follower praises me, I find that particular type of praise rarely keeps me motivated for very long. And honestly, when I was competing at my highest level, the fear of letting my coaches down actually kept me more motivated than praise did, which in hindsight seems a little dysfunctional, but I have to say, it got results. But outside of my time as a dedicated athlete, I have always found more motivation, direction, intensity, and persistence when I am internally motivated to move my body. And you know what? This is the cornerstone of my coaching and my work as a behaviorist in the Way Less program. At the beginning of both programs, I encourage my athletes to spend some time identifying and articulating their why or their compelling reason to do what it is they're attempting to do. For more information on finding your compelling reason, you can check out an episode of the Change Academy podcast that I co-host with my friend Monica Reinagel, and you may know her as the Nutrition Diva. And I'll put a link to that episode in the show notes over at quickanddirtytips.com/getfitguy. Now, in the end, I always say that if you aren't enjoying the movement or exercise that you are currently doing, well, you darn well better at least enjoy how it makes you feel after you're done. Otherwise, the problem isn't one of a hypothetical construct. You simply chose the wrong workout. Now, let me put it this way. If you hate running, hate the way you feel after running, and see no value in trying to get better at running, and no one's waiting for you at the end of the treadmill with a check for $100, then don't run. You don't have a why or a compelling reason to run. Even if you have willpower pouring out of your ears, you're likely never going to make running a healthy, happy, and worthwhile habit. There's neither intrinsic nor extrinsic motivation present to continue this activity. And unless you have a rare disease that is only cured by the biomechanical motion of running, there are many different ways that you can fulfill the criteria to make movement into exercise. And let me remind you, those criteria are simple. To make a movement into exercise, all it needs to do is raise your heart rate, a little or a lot, challenge your muscles, a little or a lot, tease your balance and mobility as much as you feel safe doing, and be repeatable consistently. Pretty easy, right? Now, with the boom in activity trackers, online workout platforms, and of course, good old social media, we have found many new sources of extrinsic motivation. But I believe these will all be fleeting if we don't also anchor them with an intrinsic motivator. For example, many of the wrist-worn activity trackers have a stand alarm or some sort of alert that tells you when you've been sitting or remaining still for too long. This feature seems like a great idea. We all know that we should be breaking up our sedentary time with bouts of movement on a regular basis. So, having a device that is aware of how still you are should be the solution, right? Well, sadly, not so much. A study called Behavior Change with Fitness Technology in Sedentary Adults concluded that, and I quote, "Overall, many behavior change strategies are included in fitness technology. However, it is not clear how often these features are regularly used. There is the potential for sustained increases in physical activity. However, many strategies are missing that would be most helpful to individuals who are currently inactive." So, simply having a device that told the participants to get up and move was not enough. Many of them eventually ignored or just didn't use that feature. And without other strategies, the efficacy of these devices was short-lived and ultimately ineffective. The study authors suggest that, and I quote, "Adding other strategies, such as identifying obstacles, restructuring negative attitudes, action planning, and modifying environmental factors to motivate inactive populations, would make these devices more effective." In other words, fitness technologies are not enough on their own. So, once again, we're back to that elusive idea of finding motivation. So what do I suggest? Well, I propose a radical new approach to choosing your new workout plan. Find one that gets you excited, feels good, is rewarding before or at least after it's done, and then you can forget all about that motivational Pinterest board that you created. You'll have all the compelling reasons you need to get out there and move your body right there inside you. And if that feeling passes, well, simply find a new activity that rekindles that feeling. You got this. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And I have an important announcement to make. This episode is actually my final Get Fit Guy episode as a solo podcaster. That's right. I'm moving on in the next couple of weeks to a new project, and I'll have some information about that over the next couple of weeks while I introduce you to your new Get Fit Guy host. So you won't want to miss that. Tune in next week for more information. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being such loyal and wonderful and active listeners. It's really been a pleasure being the Get Fit Guy for the last 4 years. Now, my name is Brock Armstrong. I'm the Get Fit Guy, for now anyway. Asking you, what are you waiting for? Get out there and find that intrinsic motivation.